All right, folks, thanks again for subscribing to my channel. My name is Dave, and this is Save America, Vote Tulsi Gabbard. I am here to promote the candidacy of Tulsi, and I look forward to continuing this channel right until she's elected President of the United States. I want to talk about how Tulsi Gabbard is the only candidate who will force difficult conversations into the living rooms, kitchens, breakfast bars of America, and maybe even not just the breakfast bar, maybe the actual bar where a lot of heated conversation typically takes place. Tulsi is the only candidate out there really talking about the real difficult issues that our country faces. And amidst all the things that you hear about on a daily basis, I mean, I heard this story that involved the Koch brothers, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Because the left, because I'm kind of a guy who's on the center-right, the left is constantly talking about the Koch brothers and how bad they are and how evil they are. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, they're bringing the Koch brothers in again. What's going on? Well, apparently Venezuela has all of this oil. It's heavy-duty oil, and it needs to be refined in a certain way. And apparently the Koch brothers have refineries on the Gulf Coast that are designed specifically to refine Venezuelan oil. So when you hear about, Mike Pompeo and John Bolton talking about, we really just need to acquire those assets. Once Guaido is in power, we can go in there and grab that oil and then give it to the Koch brothers, who apparently can refine it and then make money, lots of money from that. What's that called? Theft? I mean, it's just incredible. And what do the Venezuelan people get? Well, I don't know. But all I can tell you is that what we're doing there is wrong. We shouldn't have got involved in it at all. And you can trace all of this stuff back to like the petrodollar and how our currency is backed by not oil itself, but basically the oil market, which is weird. It's almost like our currency is backed by like a stock market Ponzi scheme thing. And if that stuff tanks, then so does our currency. That would be devastating if this whole thing unraveled, because in the old days, and Ron Paul would be the expert on this with the backing of gold and the gold standard, and Nixon got rid of it, and since then we're just basically kind of going by the seat of our pants, and this is why sometimes things cost a lot of money. You have to bring a huge pile of money to buy something that before you only had to bring a few coins to buy. I mean, that's the devaluing of the currency, and it just continues. Tulsi Gabbard, though, is a candidate for president who would force people to have conversations about what's happening in Venezuela. The media is going to come back with, but we're trying to do good in the world, and their socialist country is collapsing, and we needed to go in there and help them. Just like we bailed out the car companies and the banks, we need to go bail out Venezuela. And even though we're not actually bailing out Venezuela, that's not even the issue. So we need to go there. Why? Because the people need clean water and don't have it, or there's no food in the supermarkets. Look, there's a propaganda war going on right now between what's actually happening and what the media says is happening. And this is going on, by the way, throughout our political discourse. Everything. The Russiagate thing is a perfect example of reality versus what the media has been telling you. And by the way, the media industrial complex should be going bankrupt at this very moment. But what have they decided to do? They've decided to talk about how obstruction is the next thing, even though there wasn't a crime. So as a wise lawyer said on television the other day, I'm not sure how you can get Donald Trump on obstruction if there wasn't a crime to obstruct. I mean, it's just bizarre. It's as if, okay, we see what just happened, but we're plowing ahead anyway. You know, we just hit a giant brick wall, so we're going to keep going anyway. Tulsi Gabbard she's almost like too serious for these people. She's too cerebral. She's got too many ideas, and she's got too much common sense and experience. And, you know, the funny thing is, I've noticed again about progressives and their ideas. Well, even if you disagree with them, they're bringing ideas to the table. And I'm much more apt to listen to somebody with ideas than somebody like a Beto O'Rourke who talks in platitudes, or the media who tears down anybody with a bold idea. Bernie Sanders has bold ideas. I would prefer Tulsi Gabbard over Bernie. I think there are a number of reasons why. And I've said that in a few videos here, but they go after him in a way I think that's unfair, because at least he's bringing ideas to the table. At least he's talking about reconciliation in some ways. At least he understands that the country is polarized, and to further polarize things, like Trump is kind of doing, isn't really very helpful. You know, and again, you're talking to a former Trump voter here. Supporter, voter. You know, I voted for Trump, and, you know, populism to me sounds good. But if it's no longer populism and it becomes neoconservatism or neoliberalism, I'm out. I cash my chips in, and I'm going with the bold voice. I'm going with somebody who I may not align with on every issue, but who I understand has the integrity, who has the decency, who understands that the country is like a powder keg right now in some ways. Both the left and the right are very angry at one another. And we don't need a president jumping in there, throwing out red meat to one side, while the other side gets angrier and angrier. It's kind of like the guy who is doing the victory dance on the other side, and you're like, okay, you guys won. And they keep doing the victory dance. And they keep just, you know, in your face, we won, and almost provoking. We don't need a provocative commander-in-chief. What we need is a dedicated commander-in-chief who can listen to either side and come to a conclusion, and then do what's best for the country and tamp down all of the anger and the frustration that's out there and not feed into it. People should be angry about what their country is doing, though, because we're spending trillions of dollars on unconstitutional wars. You know, Ron Paul did this whole thing 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 2008, 2012, and he had all of this energy and excitement into his campaign. The supporters were winning straw polls. They were, you know, it was just, and then, you know, the GOP establishment put the nix on the whole thing, put the kibosh on it, and it was done. It was done. The fix was in. And my fear is that the Democratic establishment will do this. They did it to Bernie Sanders last time. They're going to go after Tulsi Gabbard. That's why we need to get her to 65,000 unique donors ASAP. The sooner the better, and the more the merrier, because if we go in with 100,000 unique donors, or how many, it's going to look really good. She's going to look like she's got a bit of a debate mandate, you know, and we need her voice on that stage. And she has what it takes to actually move the pendulum, change the dynamic of the election where these issues get talked about. Because the ordinary man and woman, the workaday folks, the middle class, the lower class, the poor, all of those people right now are thinking that there's not much time left. And there's this dread, there's this weird feeling that's out there that the politics are so broken that it can't be fixed. And I'm not sure it can be fixed. But we've got to try like it can be fixed. And Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is our best shot. She's not perfect. No human being is perfect. We just thank her for being in this race, and Bernie too. And there are other people in this race that are interesting. Andrew Yang, I think, is a very interesting guy. We need idea-driven people instead of folks that are just playing for a team and trying to score political points every day. It really stinks how our political system has devolved to this point, where it's grandstanding, it's scoring points, it's having the soundbite of the day, it's, and Donald Trump is really good at all of that stuff, by the way. But after a while, you're like, hey, Donald Trump, yeah, go get him. But then you're like, but more than half the country is really angry every day. I don't like waking up in that. I don't like waking up knowing that some guy down the street is really angry. Maybe he's misdirecting his anger, but we need a president that doesn't polarize. We need somebody who listens, and Tulsi Gabbard is the candidate. All right, so I'm done with this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to donate to Tulsi Gabbard. She needs all the help she can get. $1, if you can afford $1, that's a unique donation. If you haven't given yet, just give the buck. As she says, do away with your 7-Eleven coffee for the morning, and you could probably donate $1.50 or $2. But she needs the help, and this is serious, folks. We're not playing around anymore. We got to do something. And what else can I say? Just donate to Tulsi and subscribe to my channel. All right, see you soon.